How long can you last without trying to draw a conclusion? How long? I'm Heather Grzych, and this is the Wisdom of the Body podcast. This podcast explores the idea of body intelligence as the real key to learning the knowledge of life, or what we call Ayurveda in the ancient language of Sanskrit. We do that by connecting with today's creative leaders and experts who will help you listen to your body, trust your gut, and live in deeper harmony with nature. Come join me as we unlock the golden door to clear, direct perception and become very deep listeners. You can find the Wisdom of the Body podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also follow us by joining my email at heathergrish.com or on Instagram at heathergrish. I know you're going to love this podcast, so take a second right now to subscribe. Vibrations pulsate all around you. Look at the way plants grow. They are not perfect, but they move according to their particular nature, the sun, the wind, and the water. Some reach for the sun, trying to poke their heads out in the forest so their leaves can catch some rays. Other plants are just fine, crawling on the ground, and they actually prefer it there. Yet another plant will sport a flower once a year if the conditions are right. Does the plant ask itself, "Who am I?" No, it just moves in response to its environment. This thing called knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. Look what happened to Adam and Eve, after all, kicked out of that garden for eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Oh, but it was the snake, she said. In Ayurveda, snakes symbolize Vatadosha, the energy of movement. It's quick and subtle. There are waves pulsating everywhere, and those waves move like snakes. All of the rhythms we find ourselves in, musical, menstrual, and otherwise, even the movements of our minds are like snakes. Maybe that was Medusa's problem. She had too many thoughts, that she could turn you into stone with one eye glance, suck the life right out of you, like a friend who won't let go of her chattering mind. And yet you still listen to be nice, though you'd wish she'd just stop and look. The rose is growing outside, right in front of her house. To look at humans as a whole, what we do to our environments, what we take from the environments. So much waste. I can't get away from plastic packaging. So much that some of us are even plasticizing our faces and bodies. The gray hairs over my ears, they do tempt me to color them. I'd love to pretend I'm 10 years younger. But then I remember how tiring it is to keep up with lies. You think you know who you are. Sometimes you think you're your body, and sometimes you think you're your mind. You even think you're your ideas. How long can you last without trying to draw a conclusion? How long? You're compelled to want certainty. Your mind will draw a conclusion, and that conclusion is, well, out of time. It's not reality. It's happening in a future far away, which may or may not even happen. It's creative, your imagination at work. But if you create the conclusion, then perhaps your actions are training toward that reality. And if your actions and energy are training toward that reality, then other people will be more likely to conspire to get you there too. And it will become reinforced. So to change, you need to change your conclusions. You can create better ones, and that's called in Sanskrit pratipaksha bhavana, the power of positive thinking, turning a negative into a positive. Spiritual bypassing is another term for this. You don't like the present understanding, so you want to create a different understanding. It's a technique, and it also has consequences. But to be truly in time, you will not have conclusion. You will have perception. And that is rooted in speaking in the present tense. And if you are speaking about the future or the past, it's not now. It is memory. It's imagination or understanding. None of these things is truth. Clear, direct perception is truth. Even your biological identity is incomplete. Some of your cells live in your mother's body, and some of hers in yours. and the cells persist. For how long, we do not know. When she dies, some of you dies. Your cells live in your child's body, and when you die, some of the child dies. However, you live on a little bit in your child because even though the cells in your child's body have your DNA, they've become entrained to a different heartbeat in a different body. Similarly, your child's cells live in your body. Perhaps that's why mothers describe the feeling of being a mother as living with part of their heart walking around outside of them. Human attachment is energetic and cellular. It involves the mind, desire, doshas, and DNA. We don't quite understand our interconnectedness, but we feel it, and this cellular connection is an area that has not been researched enough. I know it's very popular to study the microbiome these days, and many people try like hell to control the microbiome, but we don't just share bacteria, we share each other. We can walk around feeling whole, and we can walk around feeling interconnected, but not if we've lost focus on the terrain of the body. It's easy to do if all we do is focus on the microbiome. We have to give our intelligent, sensory bodies a little bit more credit than that. And perhaps the connections we feel with people hold all the answers. When someone dies, we grieve. It's physical, it's emotional, mental, and it's also cellular. The mere fact that cells have receptors shows us they feel. You think you know who you are, but you're just learning. We're all just learning. So take a moment here to feel the trillions of cells in your body and listen to them, care for them. They won't be there forever, and they love it when you take a pause from the distractions of life to pay close attention to them. But also, don't hold on to them too much. Just enough. Just enough. Thank you for tuning in and dropping in with us today. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. I really want to hear your feedback. To learn more about my work, visit heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, GRZYCH.com. And meet me here next time on The Wisdom of the Body.